Hello. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about some um, some books uh, that I read. Um, that I most recently read. Some of them are already reviewed and obviously already read. No, not yet. You want candy? Oh, no. Pick one. I can wrap. You can unwrap that one. Alright. So, the I have a lot of updating or a lot of to update you. First, I read Gulliver's Travels. This one, I believe, was a 2.5. I didn't really enjoy this one because it takes place over a span of years, and it only talks about his travels, so it doesn't really like talk about what happened with his wife and stuff. The movies of um, Gulliver's Travels are actually better than the book. So if you want to experience the story, the movies are better because they like have different characters and different like roles and stuff. So yeah, be sure to check my website about that. But this book wasn't really that great. It was written in Old English, so it was written in like before United States or the USA was even a thing. So and it was basically, I don't know, a satire, so it was supposed to be made fun of. I did enjoy the horse thing, and I did make videos on each section. So be sure to watch that if you haven't. You can have another candy. Anyway, so the next book I finished was Night with Connections, which I read the short stories, and that one was really the short stories were pretty good. There was some hit or miss. Most of it was like articles, which I thought was really interesting about the Holocaust and stuff, and then some of them weren't really that interesting. So yeah. Then I read Last Kiss Goodnight, which I rated a 4 out of 5. This book is really good. This one is about Sola, who is an alien, and he works for like a spy network basically, and they like help catch bad guys, kind of like superhero type things. And he gets the facility gets like you know busted in or whatever, and the main guy gets passed out, and these other guys like get like you know captured and stuff. So he gets captured and placed into a circus. This is Gina Showalter's new series, and a lot of people don't like this book, but I loved it because there was no sex in it. It was just a Beauty and Beast kind of story, and kind of had that kind of feel to it. I loved it absolutely. It was kind of reminded me of the new Beauty and Beast series. And I absolutely love that series. And I know it's not for everybody, but this is like really, it is heavily romance. There is some dark stuff that goes around, so not everything is kind of explained, but it is a really interesting read. Yep. And the next book I read was The Brief History of Time. Um, this one, I think I rated a 3 out of 5. I didn't really love this one either. I think I really liked it in the beginning, and then like towards the end, it like kind of tapered. So it's just like oh, it's really good. And then it was like, yeah, it's not that. Like, I don't know. The information was going way over my head. And obviously, it's going to be a brief history time, so it's not going to be like complicated or whatever and stuff. Then the next book, I already have a review up for it, and that is The Silver Eyes, and this is by Scott Cawthorn and Kyra Bray Briskley. This one I rated a 3.5, I believe, and this one follows Charlie, who is basically returning to her home to kind of celebrate the death, or not the death, but the like anniversary when um her friend died by an animatronic, basically. And this kind of is takes place in the Five Nights at Freddy's world, and it is good, but it's not amazing. I think there's a lot of tropes in it, like horror tropes, that is pretty good if you're like really into like horror movies and stuff. And I'm into that, but like I've seen a lot, so whenever they said, "Oh, these things are nice. They're nice." And I'm like, I don't think so. What the heck? So yeah. So some of this plot stuff and tropes, some of the tropes I didn't like. But there was some tropes that I did. There was a scene that I really enjoyed.
My
Um,
basket is full of candy.
yeah.
And
And so yeah. So I did enjoy that one. Then I
that
read.
was from other people.
Yeah. Whoa! Pick it up, Bobby. Pick it up. Pick all the candy up. Anyway,
That was from
the next book I read was the Bible stories for boys and girls, and this one had 4 stories in it, I think. And it was okay. Again, just a regular, you know, short story collection. I didn't really like. I mean, I really liked the stories, but it wasn't like amazing, whatever. And the next book I read was Duet Between Us, which I also have a video on. This one is by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Puckingham, and this is an amazing book. I also have a spoiler, my thoughts about the book on the Booktubeathon blog if you want to hear my deepest thoughts, but they are spoiler heavy. So, yeah. And I do have a review on this book as well. I really enjoyed this part. I think there's one part that I'm still kind of, even though I rated it 5 out of 5, I really love this book. I am, I don't know, I just think there's one part with the dog, which I don't know what happened to that thing. And then we're gonna get into the ones that I have finished recent, or sort of recently. We have The 100 Year Mystery, which is a children's book like the Boxcar Children. And this one was about like a time capsule. These kids find this time capsule, and in it is a notebook. And in the notebook is like poems of like riddles, and they have to figure out this treasure, where this treasure. And it's a really, really, really good one. This one I think was written because it was like 100 year for the boxcar or something, which I thought was really interesting. And so yes, definitely really like that one. That one I think was a 4 stars, and it was pretty high for a kid's book because it's a kid's book. It's not gonna be like murder or anything. Then the next book I finished was Broken, but on audio, and this one is by. This one was by. Hold on, where is my? Ooh, uh, this one was by E.A. Rout, and this was a paranormal romance. This one was kind of like based on, or supposed to be based on, like Frankenstein, like really good Frankenstein retelling of Frankenstein. And I love Frankenstein, but this book did not do any of that. Like, the bad guy is basically Frankenstein, but like it's basically centers around this girl and her love for her love for Daniel, who passed away, and and then she like kind of slowly learns the truth about, like, she falls in love with this other guy who goes to her school that reminds her of Daniel, and then it turns out that he has a, like, his heart in, or he has Daniel's heart in him, which I was like, why? Oh my god, there was a lot of cringe-worthy things, and you could really tell it was really predictable. So like, even though there was a long time before you like kind of got at the end of the book, you got like a lot of action and stuff. But like during the book, there was like not that much action. It was like, oh, you know, I'm in love with this guy, and melodrama bullshit. And yeah, I didn't really like it. I rated it a 2 star. Didn't really like it. So now on to what I am currently reading right now, which is exciting because I love what I'm currently reading right now. The first book I'm currently reading, I'm gonna show you an actual book. It's in my backpack. I can't open it. Ow. So what I'm currently reading is this book right here, I Hunt Killers by Barry Lyga. This one's really interesting. It is kind of it's a YA, but it's about a guy named Jazz who is the son of a serial killer, and um, we also follow a mystery. So it's kind of like Dexter. I would say it's kind of like Dexter. Um, it feels like Dexter, which I love. I'm also really enjoying the grandmother, and the Jazz's character is so intriguing and stuff. I'm really loving this. So I definitely love this. And we do have like another serial killer who is killing people. So there's kind of this, you know, behind the scenes police protocol thing, which is really fun. So I'm loving that right now. Then I'm also reading The Mystery of the Traveling Tomatoes, and this one is for my son. I'm reading this to him at bedtime. This one's about, I believe, a bank robbery. This person steals a car and steals money from the bank, but he like does it like he doesn't like do
I
it.
need up.
Yeah,
I need up.
you want up?
Yeah.
You want to say hi?
Yeah.
Say hi. Hi. Okay. Anyway, so I do read this every night.
Now
Bobby, you can't do that. Go watch your TV show. So this one's pretty interesting as well. So, but it's not as amazing as the 100 year mystery, because this one's more like standard stuff. Bobby, stop doing that. Stop.
up.
You can't go up. Stop. Stop messing with my computer. Bobby, you want to get up? Get up. Sit. Anyway, the next book I am reading is When She Woke by Hillary Jordan. Bobby, you gotta be quiet so that I can talk. Hillary Jordan, and this one is about it's kind of like what do we call it? the Scarlet Letter and the Crucible mixed together. They had a baby. I feel like it's heavy on the religion. It's definitely like talks about like this girl, the main character, Hannah. She gets an abortion. Like she gets pregnant, obviously, gets an abortion, decides that, and of course that is murder. So she is charged with murder. So she goes into this facility where they like keep these convicted felonies and stuff. And it's really like horrible. Like there's one point where the reverend guy who tells him, make a doll in your own image, and you have to name her, and you have to carry her around everywhere. And I'm just like, what the f, really? And then there's another part when the 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 nurse, or I think there's another girl, comes in and questions her. Forgot her name, but she tells her, how was your abortion, like how was your abortion made, or how was your abortion done? And I was like, why would you do that? It's like super dark and super like, oh, we don't care who the father was. We don't care who did it to you, but we want to know how it was done. What? Yeah, like I would say who did it to you, and then persecute that guy because he's gonna do it to some other women too, right? If you have that law that you can't, you know, you can't abort a baby or whatever. If you can't abort them, then yeah. Alright. So that is what I have read and is currently reading. And we're gonna go now. Bye. Say bye.
No.
Bye.
I